Hello students, welcome to Educate. In this class, we will discuss about biomolecules. What is biomolecules? The molecules which obtain from the living beings. That is called biomolecules. And the biomolecules include carbohydrate, protein, amino acids, nucleic acids, and the lipids. About the lipids, you will not have to study. So let's see firstly carbohydrate. So biomolecules include, in the examination question will not ask what is biomolecules. Here in biochemistry, we study about the biomolecules. Biochemistry is the branch of chemistry which discuss about the biomolecules. So here biomolecules include carbohydrate, protein, vitamins, nucleic acid, and lipids. About which lipids you will not have to study. If lipids is not in your syllabus. Now let's see carbohydrate. Earlier the carbohydrate was defined as the molecule in which the ratio of number of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen will be 1:2:1 according to their number. The molecules in which the number of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms are in the ratio of 1:2:1. That is called carbohydrates. But in that concept, every molecules was not fitted in the definition of carbohydrate. In addition to that, there were some molecules also which was satisfying the formulas provided by the classical concept, but that was not carbohydrate. Like in acetic acid, so ratio of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen is also 1:2:1. Like 2 carbon, 4 hydrogen and 2 carbon. But that is not a carbohydrate. Nowadays, the carbohydrate is defined as the molecules which contain an aldehydic or a ketonic group and more than two or more than two hydroxyl group. That is polyhydroxyaldehyde or the ketone is called carbohydrate. In the examination, question will not ask what is biomolecules, what is carbohydrate, but you should know. But in the competitive examination like CUET and in NEET examination, particularly NEET examination, not in main examination. In main examination, there will be free chances of asking the question. That in the question, there will be question will be among these compounds, which one is carbohydrate, and molecular formula will be given. So here you will have to find out is in that compound there is an aldehyde group or a ketonic group, and is there more than one hydroxyl group? If that is, then that compound will be carbohydrate. Okay, so carbohydrate is polyhydroxyaldehyde or the ketone. Carbohydrate is that is called carbohydrate. Okay, usually in carbohydrate, usually the ratio of number of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen is 1:2:1. That is generally the ratio of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atom in carbohydrate is 1:2:1. Now let's see. Then after here is about the classification of carbohydrate. Classification of carbohydrate. Okay, so what is that here? Carbohydrate. Okay, one point also. If directly you find out that there is in the compound, that is there is no aldehydic group or a ketonic group, then on hydrolysis, if there will be formation of a unit in which the molecules will have more than one hydroxyl group and either an aldehydic group or a ketonic group, then that molecule will be carbohydrate. Okay. Now let's see here classification of carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is classified into three parts, that is monosaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. So monosaccharides will be the carbohydrate. Monosaccharides will be the carbohydrate which cannot be further hydrolyzed. That means the carbohydrate which is made up of a single unit and hence cannot be formed more than one repeating unit when dissolved in water. That is called carbohydrate. That is monosaccharide. So monosaccharide is the carbohydrate. Monosaccharide is the carbohydrate which is made up of a single unit and which cannot be hydrolyzed. That is monosaccharide. Then after is oligosaccharide here. In oligosaccharide, on hydrolysis, it will give 2 to 10 monosaccharide unit. Oligosaccharide is the carbohydrate which on hydrolysis give 2 or more monosaccharide unit. And third one is polysaccharide. In polysaccharide, on hydrolysis, that will give a number of monosaccharide unit. That was about the hydrolysis, that like that monosaccharide, oligosaccharide and polysaccharide. In oligosaccharide, there is also a disaccharide. Disaccharide is also a type of oligosaccharide. Disaccharide that on hydrolysis give 2 monosaccharide unit. Okay, that is monosaccharide, oligosaccharide and polysaccharide. Okay, about the example and so on we will also discuss here. Now here how much monosaccharides are known? So there is 20 monosaccharides are known to occur in nature. Okay, so that is here there are 20 monosaccharides which exist in the nature, but a number of monosaccharides has been synthesized in the laboratory also. Okay, so now let's see, that was monosaccharide, oligosaccharide and polysaccharide. Then after is monosaccharide has to classify. Monosaccharide further classified into aldose and ketose. Aldose and ketose. As you know that in monosaccharide, or in the definition of carbohydrate, there is an aldehydic group or a ketonic group and more than one hydroxyl group. If in the compound there will be aldehydic group, then that monosaccharide will classify as aldose. And if in the compound there will be ketonic group in addition to more than one hydroxyl group, then that compound will includes in ketose. So monosaccharide is classified into aldose and ketose. In addition to that, the monosaccharide is also classified on the basis of number of carbon atom. Both aldose and ketose will be classified on the basis of number of carbon atom. Guys, just think, to be a monosaccharide or to be a carbohydrate, minimum how much carbon atoms should be there? Think, just 2 seconds. Now think. Done? Guys, watch out. Some students will tell that one aldehyde group and the two OH group they attach on the same carbon atom. But if you will attach the two OH group to the same carbon atom, then that compound will be unstable and that will not remain carbohydrate. Like that here, if someone make like this, so he will tell minimum 2 carbon. So no, this one is not a carbohydrate. Why? Because hydrogen of this one, that when 2H group attached to the same carbon atom, that compound will be unstable. So hydrogen of this one and this OH, that will combine together and that will again become, that means 2CHO attached there. So that will be not carbohydrate. So to be a carbohydrate, minimum number of carbon atom will be 3. Okay, so that's why the carbomonosaccharide is further classified into triose, tetrose, pentose, hexose, heptose and so on. Both aldose as well as ketose will be further classified into triose, tetrose, pentose, hexose, heptose and so on. As for example here, if aldose it is here, if the carbohydrate is containing the aldehyde group, then and number of carbon atom if there is 3, so that is triose. So that will come, that carbohydrate or that monosaccharide will be included into triose. If aldehyde group is there, so that will be called aldotriose. And if the monosaccharide will contain the ketonic group, then that will be called ketotriose. Ketotriose is possible, like C double bond over here, CH2OH here, and here also CH2OH. So that will be called aldotriose or ketotriose. Same here, when number of carbon atom is 4, so that will be called tetrose, and that will be classified into aldotetrose or ketotetrose, depending on in that monosaccharide. Aldehyde, in that monosaccharide, aldehyde is present or the ketone is present. In the same form here, pentose and here, so that will be aldopentose and ketopentose. Like that, another 2 is also. So the monosaccharide, both aldose and ketose, are further classified into triose, tetrose, pentose, hexose and heptose and so on. That is oligosaccharide here, that contains more than one, that is composed of, the oligosaccharide is composed of 2 to 10 monosaccharide units, and the polysaccharides composed of a number of monosaccharides. So when aldose or when oligosaccharide, will hydrolyzed, there will be formation of 2 to 10 monosaccharide unit, and when polysaccharide will hydrolyzed, then there will be formation of a number of monosaccharide unit. Clear? Now this class of monosaccharide or that's carbohydrate, this carbohydrate is also further classified into reducing sugar and non-reducing sugar. Reducing sugar and non-reducing sugar. What is reducing sugar? These carbohydrates are also called sugars because most of the carbohydrates are sweet in taste. Like monosaccharide and oligosaccharide, they are also sweet in taste. Monosaccharide unit, that is example of monosaccharide is glucose, fructose. Glucose might be you have drunk, and glucose, have you realized what's the taste? Is it not sweet? And in the case of fruits also, might be, that means obviously almost all of them have taken the fruits and the taste of fruits is not sweet. So here monosaccharides are sweet in taste. Oligosaccharide, example of oligosaccharide is like sugar, kitchen sugar. That is also sweet in taste, and that is a disaccharide. Especially that is sucrose is disaccharide, so hence that will be also the oligosaccharide. And sucrose is that is sugar is also sweet in taste. So the carbohydrate can be also classified into sweet sugar and non-sweet sugar. Okay, the monosaccharide and the oligosaccharide are sweet in taste, but polysaccharide are not sweet in taste. As for example, cellulose. Cellulose is composed of cellulose is actually the polysaccharide. So if someone in the kids might be a number of you have choose the leaves or the grasses also. Anytime have you realized that is sweet in taste? No. If someone especially, that means rarely if you have find out that its sweet taste is sweet, so that means that substance might contain something sweet substances. Same like the fruits like here guava or guava, banana also. Guava, banana, apples, they are. When they are unripe, then they are not sweet in taste. Because when they are unripe, there is carbohydrate is in the form of polysaccharide. When that's matured, the fruits get matured, and then after hydrolysis continuously taken place there. Then when hydrolysis taken place, so a number of polysaccharides get converts into the fructose. So sweets, so ripe fruits are sweet in taste, and unripe fruits are not sweet in taste. Okay, ripe fruits. Why? Because ripe fruits composed of polysaccharide, which is not sweet in taste. Ripe fruits composed of ripe fruits contain the fructose, which is sweet in taste, and unripe fruits contain polysaccharide, which is not sweet in taste. One thing, have you realized? More ripened with the fruit, more sweet with the taste. I am not telling that you like the or not, because someone likes intermediate ripened fruits and someone likes more ripe fruits. So more ripened with the fruits, then more with the sweet in taste, and but after a limit, there will be decaying of that sugars also, or decaying of that fruits by the microbes, and then after that don't taste sweet. So when there will be ripening of the fruits till at their maximum, so sweetness will be maximum, and after that the microbes acts over that sweets and taste don't be sweets. Okay, that is the reason here. One places I have studied that why I have watched a question that why ripened fruits are sweet in taste and unripened are not. So actually because unripe fruits here composed of carbohydrate, that is polysaccharide, and when they get ripened, so during their ripening, the polysaccharide get hydrolyzed and converted into monosaccharide or someone disaccharide also. So monosaccharide and disaccharide or any other oligosaccharide, they are sweet in taste. Now the monosaccharide and so oligosaccharide and polysaccharide, they are also classified into reducing sugar and non-reducing sugar. The carbohydrates are classified into reducing sugar and non-reducing sugar. Reducing sugar are the sugar which reduces the Tollens reagent or the Fehling solution. We have studied there. In case of aldehyde and ketone, Tollens reagent is what and Fehling solution is what? Ammonical silver nitrate is called Tollens reagent and Cu2 plus is called Fehling solution. So here reducing sugar are the sugar which reduces Tollens reagent or the Fehling solution, and non-reducing sugar non-reducing sugars are the sugars which don't reduces tolerance reagent or the failing solution. Often, usually all the monosaccharides which has been discovered till now, all the monosaccharides includes in the reducing sugar. So there are 20 types of monosaccharides has been classified, has been observed. So all the natural monosaccharides are reducing sugar. That is, they reduces the tolerance reagent or the failing solution. In case of oligosaccharide, if the aldehydic group will be free, that means if the aldehydic group will not involve in bond formation, then that oligosaccharide will include in reducing sugar. And if the aldehydic group will be bonded, then that oligosaccharide will include in non-reducing sugar. Okay, so carbohydrate is classified into here. First one, there is basis of classification of carbohydrates. First one classification is here is on the basis of hydrolysis, and it is monosaccharide. That is, on the basis of hydrolysis, the carbohydrate is classified into monosaccharide, oligosaccharide and polysaccharide. Now, on the basis of reduction to failing solution or tolerance reagent, it is classified into reducing sugar and non-reducing sugar. Third one is on the basis of taste, on the basis of sweetness. Sweet sugar that include monosaccharide, okay. One point here I am not written, that's you write after this one. One point is that the monosaccharides are reducing sugar. The monosaccharides includes in reducing sugar, and the oligosaccharides will include in reducing sugar. That is, it will reduce the tolerance reagent or the filling solution when the aldehyde group will be free, and that will be include in non-reducing sugar. when the aldehyde group will involves in bond formation. Okay, that point you write. Okay, and polysaccharide includes in non-reducing sugar. Okay, so okay, so keep in the mind that all the monosaccharides are includes in reduced sugar. The oligosaccharides will include in reduced sugar. If the oligosaccharide will include in reducing sugar, if the aldehyde group will be free, and it will include in non-reducing sugar if aldehyde group will involve in bond formation. Okay, that is now. The monosaccharide, are further classified into aldose and ketose. Monosaccharides, two bases, that is aldose and ketose, and third one is on the basis of number of carbon atom. Both aldose and ketose, they are classified into triose, tetrose, pentose, like that. So there is of the monosaccharide, it is first basis is classification of monosaccharide. So what is that here? So monosaccharide, firstly, that is classified into aldose. That means aldehyde group will be present, and second one is ketose. In ketose, ketonic group is present. Now second one is on the basis of functional group. Second classification is on the basis of number of carbon atom, and that is triose, tetrose. The second one is Okay, guys, that was about this classification of monosaccharide. Example, just take monosaccharide. Of the example of monosaccharide is like that: glucose, fructose, disaccharide. Sucrose and lactose, that is disaccharide, and it is a type of oligosaccharide. This one is disaccharide here, and it is a type of oligosaccharide. That is the example. One thing, have you realized that the taste of sugar, kitchen sugar we tell for, that means in chemistry, sugar for everyone here, which is taste, sweet in taste. That means carbohydrate, which is sweet in taste. About that we tell sugar, and sugar we tell in our day-to-day life, which we use in the kitchen. That is actually called kitchen sugar. More appropriate is kitchen sugar. So have you realized that the taste of kitchen sugar, the taste of the sweetness of kitchen sugar is different from that of milk? Milk contains the sugar lactose. So here the taste of the kitchen sugar is different. The taste of the sweetness of kitchen sugar is different from that of the sweetness of the milk. Third one is here monosaccharide is that is, oligosaccharide is that is, and polysaccharide. This example is cellulose, glycogen also. Glycogen that found in the muscles of the animals. So who is non-vegetarian might be he have realized that the taste of meat are not sweet. Okay, so that is here. So what will be the taste of the meat? That depend on the spices which are used in the during the cooking of the meat. That is different what's the ingredients of that along with that. So sweetness, if there be, like someone if add the sugar, then obviously the chicken will become, or the any other vegetarian non-veg will become sweet in taste. But that sweetness is not due to the glycogen which is present in the muscle of the animals. That sweetness is due to the sugar. Okay, guys, that was this one example. Now next point is about the glucose. That is a classification we did, and here about the glucose we will discuss separately. Glucose and fructose, that is in your syllabus, and glucose is aldose, fructose is ketose. Both glucose and fructose, they are the glucose and fructose, they are enantiomers of each other. That means they forms non-superimposable mirror image. And about the glucose and fructose, one point is that also, that is enantiomers, and second one is optical activity. So glucose is dextrorotatory compound and fructose is levorotatory compound. Glucose is dextrorotatory compound, that means it rotates the plane polarized light towards right, and fructose is levorotatory compound, that means it rotates the plane polarized light towards left. About that you will have to study here chemical properties and so on, and then after the remaining portions are, that means we will go fastly because there will be polymerization and so on. So that is here about the glucose. So in the next class we will discuss about the structure of glucose in the examination of 12th board. Question asked about the structure of glucose, that is called pyranose form of glucose, and or stick form structure of the glucose. So about that, and in fructose, that's called furanous form of, question asked about the furanous form of glucose. That means draw the structure of the furanous form of fructose. Usually that asked, but it not means that stick form structure of the fructose could not be asked. There could be also asked. Okay, guys. So here it's that was about this classification and introduction. Now about in detail about the glucose and other one fructose and so on. We will discuss in the next class. It's all for this class. Thank you, Team Educate.